We're doing it live. All right, here we are. We got Zenzo in the house. We're going a little bit short today, depending on where you are. We're going to go for like an hour. We got a lot of stuff we got to get done. And yeah, I don't have a topic yet, so hoping you guys will chime in with interesting things to talk about. I just beat Zenzo arm wrestling, and he had to order a 3D printer. So that's exciting. And yeah, magically, he kept pulling his arm down himself. I said, if I beat you in arm wrestling, you have to buy a 3D printer.
no.
And yeah, I've never had. I nearly got whiplash from my arm making his go down so fast. So
I just hit the buy now button. So
yeah,
oh, Zenzo is frozen. That was a joke, Candy.
yeah, we were gonna to be transparent. Zenzo was thinking about buying a 3D printer last night, and I told him, you should buy it. Tariffs are going to make it go up. And 4 hours later, it did.
Yeah,
It literally
it went up $50 from
went
yesterday
$50
to today.
overnight. And,
Dang it.
you know, as of midnight tonight, it'll be only like it's only another 50%.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we're tight on time is my price list for you guys, which you guys right now are kind of getting, well, I don't want to call it discounted because that's not right, but the pricing, the way it's going, stuff hasn't been updated yet, and I thought I had it all figured out. 45% as of last week or whatever. Then there was a 20% more. Now there could be 50% more as of midnight, so my spreadsheet needs to get about this many more columns, and with all the what ifs, here's what we're doing. So, yeah. But had a great time in Canada. So just got back from that a couple days ago, meeting everybody, had a good time. We worked yesterday on the retail store, ordered up some more supplies. We cut piping, so like it's stuff's coming out. We sold one of the racks, like it is on at the retail store. May 3rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. We're done with March. It's been a long 2025. That's all I'm saying. Okay, it's been a long 2025 for me. And yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, I don't have to shout out the Canadian event. I already did it. So
Someone was asking any tubbing plans for you this season.
actually,
'Cause we were just
yes.
talking about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was talking with Zenzo, with Dean, because Dean was over. We filmed a video. There's a Dean video coming, guys and girls. It won't be out. It'll probably be a couple weeks, but we did film all day. And while we were talking about setting up some ponds outside because I had the itch. And maybe this will be the year, 5 years in a row, where I missed pond season because I'm busy. And yeah, I'm gonna try to set up 700-gallon ponds, auto water change them, and build like wood around them and cedar so it like matches my building. We'll see if we can pull all that off between now and the end of summer. Goldfish are coming. Did you end up signing up for the goldfish, Senzo, or no?
I did not, no, because I didn't have like the real estate to dedicate a whole large setup to each fish. Like it does sound fun. I don't really have the outdoor space to do it, so I'd have to do it indoors, and I'd have to dedicate like 3 55-gallon tanks or something, which I don't. Yeah, I didn't have the space, but it does look interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do
Yeah.
like try one in a 40, one in a 100-gallon pond outside, and then maybe one in a 100-gallon pond inside, and then just feed them all the same food and see. Like, there's always genetics that play
Sure.
a role in like how big are they gonna grow, but can I see like, oh wow, clearly like it's double as big, or if both inside are small and the one outside's big, even if they all said the same thing, like wow, it's really important, or
Yeah, temperature, hormones in the water. I can imagine like the outdoor is going to get a little more food because of bugs and algae and things like that. So it might be a little bit of an advantage from a food standpoint. But then if the water's a lot cooler, maybe
Right.
the growth rate's different, the metabolism. That's what I was thinking of. So
yeah, I think officially there's like 2 more days to enter the Goldfish Council, because I think I don't know, signing up might end on the 10th. maybe that's what it is. I'm not running it, so I don't know exactly the details, but yeah. What's going on with Mike? AquaPro's Mike? It's because he got his own Murphy. He's got a dog, a cute little corgi named Murphy. And, yeah. It's dealing with real life.
Yeah,
Sometimes that happens.
life happens.
Yeah. One of our guys in the club's making the coolest K1 filter medias with a sponge filter on the bottom. Super impressive. Yeah, there's a lot of DIY stuff.
How does that work? So you have a sponge filter and then like a cylinder on top with media. So it's like stacking like a bubble filter on top of a sponge filter?
Yeah, so yeah, I've done it with like older sponge filters before we made them, and you basically like get a pop bottle or something on it,
Yeah.
and as the air rises up through it, it causes the spinning to happen.
Right.
And it keeps it a little bit cleaner, even though the other meat is supposed to be self-cleaning anyway.
Right.
I feel like it kind of... What I don't like about K1 media in aquariums, I'm always like, it's just taking up too much space.
A lot of real estate.
If it's in a sump or something else, like, I think they do better when it's like, I've got that 55-gallon barrel drum over there dedicated to it, and not so much trying to fit it in the aquarium.
So I have an interesting question because I know like we talk about this often, or you do, like fluid dynamics and the size of bubbles.
Yeah.
So let's say that you have a sponge filter, maybe you have an air stone in there or you don't. And when the bubbles leave the sponge filter, they're hitting that media.
Yeah.
They're no longer uniform. They're no longer moving at the same speed in the same direction. Is it going to change the effectiveness of the sponge filter? Because it's not
It depends
flowing.
on how long the tube is.
Right?
So, for instance, if you had it do that at the end of an easy flow, it would not change it.
Sure.
But you shorten the tube, it does change
Yeah.
it. And then where I thought you were going with that is, does that have an impact on how well the K1 media works? And the answer is also yes.
Okay.
So when you're doing your own, it's so convenient to be like, hey, here's a pop bottle in my recycle bin. I can use this. But if you were designing it with 3D printing or something, you actually want the bubbles to go up one side.
Yes.
So in the middle, it kind of like, trying to do this move. You really want to get it whipping around in a circular motion. So you could probably heat up a pop bottle or something and like get it to one side and get that motion. But yeah, all of those things technically matter. However, probably doesn't matter in your aquarium. That once you start using sponge filters plus K1 media, I don't think you can get enough fish in there for it to ever matter, like for efficiency wise.
Yep.
So.
I've been over the years going more and more simple with filtration.
Yeah, more FX6s.
Yeah. So even like I have a 75-gallon African cichlid tank. All I have in that thing is stacked sponge filters and a pre-filter sponge on our power head. That's it. And I did one little hot rod thing where I made our air collar fit the tube that I attached to our power head, and then I put a pre-filter on there. So and then I have the air coming in, so it's like blowing bubbles. It's a neat.
We're working on doing a little bit of venturi for the power heads and stuff. So
Zenzo looks like he's sitting in the back of the limo, and Corey's the driver.
I gotta drive. Yeah, I should put the hat on. Yeah. No, we're working on a lot of stuff. I gotta be honest though. I was in meetings today, and pretty much all products I'm working on are on hold. Turns out tariffs eat up money. We don't have cash flow to even launch new ones. We are trying to get some quotes from some U.S. suppliers to see, does anything make sense? Is there anything in the world that makes sense right now? And if it does, hey, we can do a thing. And if it doesn't, then we just hold on. Yeah. Speaking of ponds, Corey, what happened to the pond you set up in your backyard when you moved? It was in my front yard, actually. And they filled it with dirt. And it's just sitting there.
That's
so
a bummer.
Yeah.
That was a cool pond.
I was telling Katie I want to basically put one in our backyard now, like close to our patio, because the pond is a trek. Like there's no just like peeking over and like, oh, I can see a thing.
Yeah.
Like we've got some geese that are nesting with babies, and my wife's got to bring out the binoculars, and we can like barely see them. And so I kind of want something real close to the patio where you would sit and eat dinner on a summer night or something, and then being able to feed the koi. Because right now if you were just to walk down and back, it would be a 15-minute thing just to feed. And like today, it's raining right now. Like now it's a little bit sunny again, but it's raining, sunning, raining, sunning. So I'd like something a little closer. I want both, but I'd like something a little closer too.
I feel like the pond now, I haven't even been down there like 2 years. Even though I've been here so often, it's far enough away. Just like, that's a long walk down
And that's the problem for me too. Is it like and because it's all grass.
Mm-hmm.
If it rained like the day before, you have to put on like rubber boots.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are soaked down to your socks. And sure, I could get in a car and I could drive down to my pond, but say that sentence out loud. Let me get in the car and drive to my pond. Like that doesn't sound awesome
takes
either.
away the joy. The one thing I did, well, not just the one thing, 'cause I liked your other pond, is I feel like if you were to do that again, it helps with predation because of the depth and the sheer, like just the way it was built with the sheer wall, right? Where less likely to have birds of prey. Plus, if it's closer to the house, they don't like landing near the home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do need a golf cart. People are like, yeah, I need a golf cart. Yes, there's some toys I need, but
You got the electric bike.
yeah, the electric bike works, but electric bike's not good for like bringing down koi food or something. And yeah. Also, the electric bike, I should send you out on it. It does not like climbing the like grass hill again.
It's just like
It
spinning.
can go on the road, flat surface, it does pretty good, but up the like, it'll get you there. It's just like, oh, come on, And plus, my wife's like, put a helmet on, you're gonna get hurt, blah blah blah. Yeah. So but yeah, I think just like you want to put an aquarium where you spend time, you want to put a pond where you spend time. And I love the big natural pond, and there's so many birds. There's ducks and geese and heron and all that cool stuff. But it's far enough away that it's not utilized like it should be unless it's a summer. Oh, we're down there already, and like let's say there's kids playing in the yard and we got picnic tables down there, then it's fun. But the everyday, like, oh, I should go out there and feed is like, do I have 20 minutes right now? When's the first tariff increase expected on the website? If I'm giving an honest guess, next week. My honest guess is next week. It depends. Like, we got to finalize stuff. We're trying. The simple answer would be just raise the price on everything for whatever we pay and just up it. But we're going to go line by line and see, is there anywhere, can we make any changes? Can we eat it on this one, but not on that one? You saw a little bit of, like, brine shrimp went up, which is in stock, by the way. Brine shrimp's in stock. That margin is already bad, so we could not eat it. Mm-hmm. But there might be some products like, yeah, we could, instead of raising it, the tariff up to 104%, like products don't go up 104%, but they do go up our cost some. But maybe we can go, hey, we can split that with you on this product, or it's a third more on this product. So yeah, I mean, I was asking Randy, like, do we tell people to stock up? Like, that's not our motto. We don't want to fear monger either. But the reality is, maybe half the products we sell are things that are made outside of America. Well, which that's everything almost. Like, there's some things like Easy Green, and there's stuff but I was gonna say not everything will go up that much. Like shirts, like this shirt I'm wearing, I think like the actual shirts, like the cloth is made in like Haiti or something.
Honduras or something.
Honduras maybe,
Yeah.
and so like that probably got a tariff. And when it's passed along to us from, AKT who makes our shirts, like his cost for printing them probably shouldn't go up, but the shirt cost probably will. And so that might mean like to you guys when you go to buy a shirt in 6 months, like they're $1 more, which isn't so bad. But you start getting into like I don't know. I was gonna say like Easy Shrimp and Sale or something where you might be buying like 5 or 6, and you're like, yeah, they went up $1 too. Like, oh, well, that's 25%, and I bought 4 of them. So we're gonna do what we can to not, we're trying to get through this together. We want to keep stores afloat. We want to stay afloat, and we want you guys to be able to afford our stuff. And that's we're many meetings into it, and
It's a tough dance.
it is a tough dance that we're trying to pull off. So yeah, Casey donating 5 memberships along with Steve donated a membership earlier. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, telling you to stock up honestly is good advice, not fear mongering. Only buy what you need. I can't stress that enough. I've tried to always be that person. If you don't need it, don't buy it from us. Like it's not that. But if you're going, will I save a few dollars if I buy this week instead of next week? You probably will save a few dollars. I don't think anything's gonna go Captain Insano where you're like, how'd this double in price? It ain't gonna be that. Well, a few days between now and next week, you never know. If it goes up 50% a day, maybe it will. But is the linear air piston pump going up in price? We don't know. We don't manufacture that. I would expect an increase when we go to reorder them, which might be 1 to 3 months. I would expect probably something. But we're also trying to figure out, like, what are other companies doing? How are they handling this? And we're trying to, because I got to be honest, at the end of the day, I'm just a hobbyist that owns a business. Nobody has ever been through what we're going through right now in business, where, like, there's one product we put $20,000 down on it to make this product, which we carry it. And now the tariffs are so high, we're not sure you guys will buy it after it's done being made. So we're telling the manufacturer, can you just store it at your warehouse, and if tariff changes, we will then bring them over because of tariffs? So, and what gets weird, right, is there are things that we've ordered now where you spend $100,000, and when I ordered it, I expected it to cost me $125,000, right? Now it's going to cost me $204,000, which that is, I got to be honest, I'm not a guy that's got extra 75 grand per container laying around. I just don't. So it's very much like, woof. And so we're going to see what happens. Yeah.
I think the other thing that makes it challenging for all businesses, including us, is, like you were saying, the uncertainty and the volatility of what's happening. So if we knew, okay, on this date, tariffs are going up by 10%, by 20%, and that is the direction moving forward, then we can plan for that, we can budget for that. But if it's like, oh, it went up 25% this week, and then it's going up another 50% next week, maybe, and then you hear the news like, oh, we're going up again. Like, how you can't plan on that quick of a pivot, and it's
literally today I said, let's not finish that product, even if we lose the 20 grand. If we can get the paperwork done today and save 50% on the container that's getting on the water today, we will save $30,000 by not even getting the other thing we spent 20 grand on. Like, that's a crazy amount of money to go, I can throw $20,000 into the garbage and I'd still save $30,000 if we can finish the paperwork today, potentially. Like, that's a crazy spot to be in. And if we were ordering millions, that would make sense. We're not ordering millions. Like, we're talking 50% of the container cost. So we're literally at a point where it's like, just fill out the paperwork. I know the container's not full, doesn't matter. If you can submit the piece of paper today, I save $50,000. I save $30,000. So that's an incredible amount of money right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Susan FLC, hello, welcome. Nobody put Zenzo in the corner.
So Lisa the Wolf said, do what you've got to do to make it through, and let us know how we can change behavior to support this leg of the journey. So I think thank you, Lisa, for your support. I think, as Corey said earlier, like, if you don't need something, definitely don't buy it. Like, we don't want to put others in hardship. But what are things that people should be like maybe consolidating orders or like
Yeah, fewer, bigger orders
yeah.
does help us. I'm trying to think of other things you can actually do. Having a little more compassion if the order takes a couple more days to get there,
I
or
know Candy would appreciate
we
that.
run out of stuff.
Yep.
We were literally making out of a list today. If things don't change, what things are we not reordering until tariffs go down? One of them
Yeah.
would be like our easy auto feeder. I'm not sure you guys want to buy $50, $60, $70 auto feeders. I just don't think you want to. A few of you will, but it's not a good investment to be like, wait, you guys invested $200,000 into that expensive an auto feeder that people aren't going to buy? No wonder you had no cash flow. And so there'll be some of those things. And so just being compassionate when, why don't you have the thing I want? Like, there's nothing more I want than to carry all of the products that you guys want to buy. That is our job. That's how we stay employed. And so, yeah, you guys you held tight while we got brine shrimp back in stock. And
Another example is like so even for myself where I could order something with Aquarium Co-op frequently. I'll just keep a list on my phone of things that I need, and I'll just keep adding to that list until I have enough to where, oh, it makes sense to ship this now. So I need this food, I need that food, I need some easy shrimp and sale. I'll just wait till I have a few things kind of built up, knowing that it's just more economical to ship the package to me, even if I could get it right away. I just kind of wait, and I think like if everyone does that too, it does help just to consolidate your purchases and keep a list. Or I know people like put like pieces of paper in their fish room or whatever, and they just kind of write down like a shopping list kind of a thing, right? Like if you need milk and eggs and spinach or something, you don't go to the store just for milk or just for eggs. Sometimes you do, obviously, but usually what you do is you're like, oh, I'll go once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I'll do all my shopping because you don't want to drive back and forth to the grocery store 5 times. So kind of the same thing.
yeah, Scotty says, pleasure emailing with you today about Keystone Clash. We were answering
Oh,
some of that.
all right. Yeah.
Some of that
Yeah.
stuff. Richard asks, will tariffs affect plants? Some, yeah. So like tissue cultures out of Canada, potentially. Some things are like bulb plants and stuff. Even though we use farms in the United States, sometimes they buy plants from other countries and then grow them out here. So they bring in small plants and then grow them out. Potentially, we haven't seen that yet. We are starting to see, like at the fish store, we are starting to see suppliers raising prices because of tariffs.
Of the
And
fish.
so, a fish. And so, like, when we import fish, they specifically called out, like, hey, make sure you're choosing which country you want, knowing the different tariff rates, because yesterday there was no tariffs in any of these countries. So they were all like, hey, if this one's 50 cents a fish and this one's 55 cents a fish, that's just what it was, right? But if now one has a higher tariff than the other one, like that's not, what's in the spreadsheet doesn't necessarily reflect the price you would be paying. And so, there's a lot of, because we do the retail store and we have the retail partner program and we have the website for you guys, pricing and all of this kind of stuff it's all hands on deck right now. Like,
Yeah.
will Extreme, will Fritz, will other partners, will they need to raise their prices because of things? Even stuff that's like, oh, it's all made in America or mostly made in America. Like, sometimes like, oh, but this part of the package isn't, or something like that. So even if it's 90%, it could have a little bit of change. So,
Jason said, perfect timing to maybe think about options of manufacturing your stuff in the States.
yeah.
But and I think that's true, and we are looking into that, as you said. I think the other challenge though is that the infrastructure isn't currently here in the States.
Yeah, like there's no microchips to make
There's no right.
battery air pumps, auto feeders, lights if we were to do that again. Like just very few countries in the entire world that can even make those. So yeah, we might be 5-10 years out and we could, and we will if that comes to that. But some stuff doesn't have replacement. Stuff that does, We are trying to, you know. And then there's also delays too of like it's not just like we're a tiny little company in comparison. If all of a sudden every big corporation is slamming the 5 plastic manufacturers or something in a state, like long lead time. So we're trying to get our foot's in the door. We're trying. We're already on it. But yeah.
Got a fish or a filtration question.
Mm-hmm.
So using a canister filter, is a spray bar more beneficial than the standard nozzle head let's say like it's an FX4 that it comes with? What are your thoughts?
I feel like it is different, but I think it is. Yeah, you can see a little more in the tank, but canister filters come with a good spray bar. I do like them. Some kind of suck though. So like this tank doesn't have one, mostly because I haven't bought the Fluval kit to do it. I've tried to 3D print 2 different ones and I didn't like them, but at some point maybe I will buy one to do that. But I like the Renas used to come with them, and I like the XP Renas, API XP Renas. I like those. The old Fluval ones I liked. The Eheim ones, you like got to connect it with tubing. I don't know if I love that really,
Right.
but yeah, in general, I do like a good spray bar. Sometimes I'll put them on the end, so it kind of goes. I don't have to see it as much. But yeah, someone asked if brine shrimp eggs at the local fish store have to be, or are they supposed to be refrigerated or frozen? In a perfect world, yes. In a non-perfect world, not really. Mostly we're trying to stop them getting way too hot for way too long. Most stores move them at a decent clip, and I've had eggs sit around my room for a long time and not have a problem either. But yeah, in a perfect world, yes, definitely for long-term storage, keep them cold, cold, cold. Short-term, not as much. Let's see. Talk to us about April's Aquarium? Yeah, it was a good time. Trying to think. Had really good Indian food night one. Talked a lot of business. What are we doing about Canada? Like potentially tariffs and all that. Like, unfortunately, all commerce, even with hobbyists, they literally walk up, what's tariffs doing? Like, I think it's because on a lot of people's minds right now, like, yeah, I don't, and everyone keeps saying, what are you doing? And the weird part is, on the weekend, I was literally like, who knows? Could be 100% tomorrow. We don't know. And then literally like 2 days later, like, oh, it is. Oh, that's reality now. So my response normally to those kind of questions and stuff is like, we take it one day at a time because every day it could change. And but meeting people, they recorded it, so it'll probably be coming out on their channel. So April's Aquariums, if you're not aware, they have a YouTube channel. You can watch it when they put it out. They had if you're local to April's Aquariums, they had really nice gold. I mean, they had a lot of cool fish, but they had really nice 24 karat gold guppies with the metallic scales that I want. But I have no way to get them back home, so I didn't. But yeah, we got stuck at the border on the way home for like over an hour. We weren't getting hassles, long line, and then we got home about 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but really it was just lots of long, kind of 3-person talking groups all day long. People buying stuff. It was good to see. Hobby was thriving, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it was good. It's also only like a couple hours to drive there and back, so it wasn't so bad. Yeah.
Question from someone who's new to the live stream and a new member. So welcome, new member. 29-gallon tank. Sponge filter or hang on back?
Sponge filter or hang on back. I mean, I'm always gonna lean sponge filter because I like them better, but there was a time when I ran aqua clears, and I love those too. Either way, I'm having sponge, so it's going to be a pre-filter sponge, or it's going to be a sponge filter. I personally think every aquarium needs air.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
So even if you go hang on back, I want to see an air stone or a sponge filter, and then I kind of fall into like, but doesn't a sponge filter do all those? I'm like, and now you know I use sponge filters because it's just simpler for me.
Yeah, I mean, aside from like certain things like being able to put carbon in it, or like if you're trying to take meds out, or like if it's some specific aesthetic reason. Um, I would also opt for the sponge filter. It's just so much more simple. It's just one less thing to worry about it not working. And if there's a power outage or whatever, like if you have a battery backup air pump, like the filtration keeps going, your hang-on back is not going to keep running when there's a power outage. And there's a high likelihood, depending on which one you're using, you're going to have to prime that thing again when the power goes back on. So I think 9 times out of 10, I'm choosing sponge filter also. Maybe 99 out of 100
Yeah, I do think, like, if you said salt water, I'd rather be able to put more chemical filtration into the hang-on back or something like that.
Yep.
If you said you could maybe potentially change me if it was like bigger fish, like Oscars and arowanas and things like that, I might skew a little more that way.
Like something that bites the sponge filter. I've had that happen before. Like
turtles would be an example
Yeah.
of that, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's plants, I'd pretty much go sponge filter. Casey did donate 5 more memberships. You're on fire. Someone asked, I shared a picture with Chris from Fish for Thought, and yeah, we hung out, met his wife. That was cool. We had worked together in the past, but I had never met him in person, and he made the trip, so that was cool. Didn't collab or anything because I didn't know he was showing up, and then 2, we were busy with fans and things like that. But yeah, it was a good time.
So Danny Thomas asked, I have a 75-gallon aquarium and I want to do a West African cichlid tank. What type of cichlids can I have and other fish to go with them? So,
Yeah. I probably would
Grabensis? Or West African, right?
Yeah. I would pick one type of cichlid for me.
Okay.
So like Zenzo might do jewel cichlids, you fool. But
Not with other fish.
yeah, exactly. There's the butterfly cichlid. What is it? Anomala Thomasai or something like that. I personally would find a really cool Crebensis, which is a Teniotis. I would find my cool pair that they're going to reproduce in there. And then I'd add stuff, like maybe Congo tetras and some other African tetras and things, or some African barbs if you're wanting to go more biotope-ish, right? Yeah, that's...
Maybe some butterflies on top.
You could. Yep.
With a lid.
I'm always into the breeding part of it, though. So I want the bottom. Just like, let me get those guys breeding down below. Let me get something up middle so it doesn't look dumb. And boom, that's what I would do.
And Danny, I see you're a member. Lawrence Kent is going to be speaking to our club this month. He's actually going to be talking about West Africa.
That's right.
So that might be covered in this month's member talk. And if not, it might be a good question at the end for a Q&A. So for those of you that are new to the club, if you just received a membership, you're a new member, every month we have a presentation with a different expert in the aquatic hobby field, and they give a presentation. And this month we've got Lawrence Kent, who's world renowned, and we've had him on before. Should be a really, really good educational and entertaining talk. So that'd be a good one.
Casey asked something kind of technical, so I'm going to hit on it. How many linear air piston pumps for 127 drops at 1 liter per minute? 84 of them going to 75-gallon tanks, 28 of them going to 60-gallon tanks, and 36 going to 40 gallons, and 7 to 29. I would probably advise you to go to my competitor, go to like gemco.com, and start buying some of his biggest air pumps. They start getting to that $400, $500, $600 range, and you get a little more value. It's not much. You get a little more value for your money. When you're going to need that much air, you can save a bit by going into these bigger ones. Now, there are some quirks. You can't order online. You got to call up. Like that. You got to wait till they're open. They're open on the weekend. Like, hey, I'd like to order the thing. And their website's a little like, oh, I really had to do some hunting to find the specific.
Their website was built in 1997.
I mean, that's kind of an actual true statement. And that's where I used to buy mine before we ever started carrying them.
Is it JEHMCO?
Yeah, JEHMCO. and I'm kind of trying to look up. Sometimes, yeah, you got to go to hardware.
Would you go linear or would you go
Yeah,
blower?
blower.
Okay, too noisy.
Blower's like running the loudest vacuum you've ever heard.
Super
it's terrible.
loud.
Yeah, so they've got a new model, right? So they've got a new model that's LPH 200. So 200 liters of air.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even list the price. You got to call and ask them. The one below that, the LPH 120, right, which would not be quite enough for what you're trying to do, that one's $457. And so I think when you're trying to get into that much air, I would call up and I'd be like, hey, how much is this LPH 200, which actually does 235 liters per minute? And I'd say, hey, what are we looking at here? And then also know that usually you pay shipping too. So when it's like, oh, it's $457 and you got to pay shipping. Or like our website, you might go, hey, why is your, like, we sell the LPH 45, right? What do we sell ours for right now?
Let's see.
Before tariffs. They've got it for 240, and then you'll pay shipping on top of that.
Ours is $249.
So ours is $249. So if you're just buying the LPH 45,
free shipping,
you would save money buying from us a little bit. But the fact that you might need a biggin that we don't sell, because most people don't need the biggins, I don't think it makes sense for you to buy four $250 air pumps. Mm-hmm. That's $1,000. I bet you this LPH 200 comes in at like $550 or $600 or something like that. But you'd have to call. You literally have to call and go, how much is this? And then you have to go, and how much shipping? And then you got to go, and how long? Because sometimes it's like, oh, it's going to be there in 2 weeks. Like, oh, dang. But I want to see you getting taken care of, and I advise that. So
Stephen P. wrote, Gemco and Aquabid living the internet Amish life.
I mean, that's kind of true. Yeah. That's kind of true. As far as, Jody donating 10 memberships. Thank you so much. People you want a sneak peek of the 800 gallon? I'll show you right now. I'll show you right now live on the camera. Let's see. Can I make it go there? No, I gotta go the other way. We're gonna take a very slow, like.
Will it turn all the way around?
Yeah, it should. You can see my monitor. Like, keep going. Oh wait, I think I had. Do I have a? No, I don't have a view saved with this anymore. Keep going. There it is. Look at that. Look at that 800 gallon right there. Woo! Look at all. You can see the fish. You can see fish swimming in there. The clownfish, you can almost make them out. Yeah. Saltwater clowns. There's the anemone right there. Look at that. You can see all my secrets. I got algae wafers on the desk from Hikari. To be fair, right next to that, you can't see it, is wafers from Extreme. I don't want them to get left out. You just can't see because my monitor's in the way. You can see a test food right here. That's a test food. Corner store.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's get back to the Zenzo and me view. There we go. Did I film anything when I was at April's Aquarium? You better believe I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. So there'll be a video coming out for that, just showing you kind of some of the cool stuff they had. Yeah, you like the sound effects? That's right. Mm-hmm. In your new video, why not use rigid airline tubing for the lulls with the lulls clip? Also, Adolphi and gold laser cories. So asking which one do I like better. And shout out to Nolan's Aquarium in OC, Orange County. Where do I want to go with this? On the latest video, I mostly wanted a good excuse to build my own trays. So I did that. I set that up in a pinch. And then I was like, ooh, it's kind of loud. Forgot that I'd watched the video and I could have turned it down. It would have been quieter. Lowell sent me an email and I said, my bad. I'll try and remedy that with people. So you could run it lower and quieter. And then, yeah, that's mostly why. I haven't printed any little clips and the things. I wanted to kind of work on I mostly wanted to collab with Dean and go, hey, I want to make your A-frame system, Dean. I want to use some 3D parts that like Surreal and some other people have made. And I want to mix some of these. I was convinced I can make a tray that I'm going to like better. And so I'm trying. And really, it's like we're designing cups like to hold water and take drinks. You're like, oh, I can make a better cup. Like, oh, can you? Because they all do it. Does it hold water? Okay, it works. but I'm super finicky, and it's letting me geek out with my 3D printer, and that's really the excuse I wanted. So if we're being honest, like I wanted to play with my 3D printer, and that allows me to do that a whole lot. Where having all these other versions, and don't get me wrong, I've got all kinds of stuff. Like I'm always playing with stuff. Like this is something from Lowell where it lets an egg scatterer let the eggs down below, and it's got these little clippies. So I'm playing with all kinds of stuff. Here's another sneak peek of a prototype from Lowell, like a narrow one. So there's all kinds of stuff out there that, yeah, so I'm making a video and I'm playing with stuff, and I still don't know what I love the most yet. Like Dean's got stuff, and I'm like, I do not agree with you at all, Dean. Like, no, I don't think you're right on that, but yeah. Am I being ripped off? Ooh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Hillstream Loach.
Hillstream Loaches from my fish store here in Alaska. Each fish was $80, but it was the only store in Alaska that had them in stock. I'll say this. You live in Alaska. If it was less than $8 million, you got a bargain. Getting stuff to Alaska and to Hawaii is insane. So much so, we'll let the cat out of the bag right here. We are not shipping lithium-ion products to Alaska or Hawaii anymore because the surcharge is just astronomical. We lose money on like every single one we ship. There gets to be delays because only certain planes can take lithium-ion products. And so when you live in remote places like Hawaii and Alaska, I think you should kind of be thrilled to get it. Also, reticulated hillstream loaches are cool. Other variants of the reticulated hillstream loach are $80, $100, $200. Like, they're real expensive. So I think the bigger question is, are you geeking out? Did you buy it? Did you love it? You got the right price. That's And
if it's the only store in Alaska that had
Yeah.
them, like, you won. Like, you scored.
they had to take the risk. They gotta pay the money to get there. Like, got all the stuff, and yeah.
And
so
maybe if you got more than one, you could breed some in, like, in a little rock pile. And
I will say, like, support your local stores. I love that because you don't know what you're gonna love until you see it. But then also, also you could check out like a Dan's Fish or I didn't mention that. Like, we also have a code. So you save 5% at Dan's Fish Aquarium Coop. We also now have a code for you at Imperial Tropicals, save 5%. Hopefully going out to the farm. I've been ordering for a few years, but we finally worked it out where, hey, we can save you guys 5%. We get a small cut of each of those, which is awesome. That's one way to support us, by the way. Clicking through those links or using those, they get us a little bit of that. But yeah, you might be able to go, oh, it's 80 there with shipping. Maybe I got it for 65 or 70 if Dan's Fish. Like most things, the more you buy, usually the better the deal gets. If you probably went to that store and like, I'll take 10 of these, you probably got them for 65. Those kind of things happen. So, but you might go, I don't have $650, and I go, I hear you. That's a lot. So,
Heather Green says, I'm back here wishing I had one. Heather, you might have missed the very beginning. I just ordered a Bamboo Labs 3D printer right before we went live. So I will be printing all the nerdy fish things and other parts.
I'm testing more stuff right now. Like, you thought this was a Corridor egg scraper? You couldn't be more wrong. I think this is the reticulated hillstream loach new catcher that we're going to use at the store. We're going to try it. So that's what this is.
Good idea.
I gave one of these to Dean. There was two. Where did the other one go? I must have given someone. But yeah, so I want, we're trying all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I try lots of versions of lots of things. I'm like, I think this is going to work.
What's a good, like, analogy? You're good at analogies. Like, what's a good analogy of the 3D printing, like it's the next frontier? Is it like how we used to, like, buy CDs and then we stream music?
I've been telling lots of people it's the biggest technology shift I've seen since getting smartphones.
Okay.
It's real futuristic. I mean, Zenzo's seen it a couple times. Like, wait, you click print and the thing, it materializes, and we're not printing like stupid dragons and stuff. Like, that does have a place for kids and everything, or just toys. But the fact that you're like, I need a physical thing. Like last night, I printed the things that go in desks. Like, if you cut a hole and you want to run wires through it, instead of buying like the desk grommets on Amazon, I printed them. And it's like and what they call that is a functional print versus just like, oh, that's a neat print. And I pretty much only geek out on functional prints. We've been making
caps that when we had to cut the pipes yesterday. Those caps, you save $20.
So the 2-inch ABS caps at Home Depot were over $10
each.
I printed 2 of them when we cut piping at the store, and I saved myself $20.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I'll grab another one real quick over here. We're on version like 3 or whatever. But some things have been getting crazy expensive, right? Like these little overflows that I like to use.
Yeah.
These are getting up to like $6-7. Like, and we use hundreds of them at the store and that kind of stuff. So then here's a 3D printed different version. So the goal is to like let water go through there without letting fish. This is a 3D printed, I printed it in white obviously, but it allows the water to come up underneath and over and not over, bottom. Not get, it won't, this one is impossible, and I shouldn't say impossible. This one frequently can get clogged up with duckweed and stuff.
Yes.
The duckweed sits up here and doesn't get clogged up through here. We're on to a new version now, but it's fun stuff like that of like, So you're telling me this one cost you $6, this one cost you 32 cents. Like it's kind of a no-brainer at scale, right? Because $1,000 or $500 printer or whatever,
right.
Like, well, that's a lot of those things you got to make. Yeah, so Corey, I just bought the Bamboo X1C because of me. PLA or PLA Plus or PETG. I only use PLA. I've tried others, but I only use that for everything I'm doing. And then, do I need a filament dryer? My advice is yes. I showed Zenzo the specific few that I have, and I've demoed, and I have a specific one that I like. I'd have to look it up. I don't know the name brand.
It's like $150, right?
Yeah, it's like $150. When I bought it, it was $125. Tariffs got to it. Now it's $150. Like,
actually, I need to buy that today.
And I think it's going to go up again,
tomorrow.
Right? Let me look that up for you because I want to try to give you guys value, even though it's only a few people. Like filament dryer. I can give you the name of it. They'll buy them all, and then you won't get one. It'll be hilarious.
I'm logging in right now.
I believe it's. Let me look, make sure. Yeah, it's spelled EIBOS filament dryer. I buy the one with the extra little chamber that can do the 3 kilogram rolls, the bigger rolls. So
that's available on Amazon.
EBOS. I buy it from the web. I bought it from the website because I don't think it was on Amazon.
Okay.
A lot of these 3D printing places aren't on Amazon. I see the
EBOS on Amazon.
Yeah. I specifically wanted the one that has the expansion chamber. I bet you that wasn't on there.
Okay.
I want the one, and so yeah, it's yeah. What do they call it?
I will be buying one today.
Yeah.
After the streams, Corey, make sure Corey tells me the right one here.
Yeah. Let me get maybe a model number almost, but they're calling it the Polyphemus Plus 3 kg extension in the USA plug. And it's $149.99 free shipping on their website. I don't get anything for that. That's just the one that, of the 3 filament dryers I've bought, that's the one I like the most. So
3 kg extension.
Yeah, that means you can take the bigger rolls.
Got it.
And it saves you a little more per thing.
Add to cart.
Yeah. Any tips for 3D printing? Slow and steady. Just hang out on the forum. When something goes wrong, take pictures, and we'll go, I've had that happen. Try this. Try that. Try this. If you dry the filament and you buy good filament and you have a good printer, it should just be print. Just print and you make a thing. That's what it should be. There's some stuff to learn, obviously, but when are you going to design an intake for the FX6 canister to fit my pre-filter sponge? It's on the to-do list. It is on the to-do list. We just need, find a plastic manufacturer in America that wants to work with us, or wait for tariffs to go down. Following up on the airdrops from Casey, he's got an 82 liter per minute pump from Gemco. Would one more pump, our 42 liter, be enough? Where the difference is going to be, Casey, it's how much back pressure is like, are we putting it through easy flows? Are we putting it through Zis air stones that are like cranked down? If you're on the fence, just buy another one of those 82 liter ones. And I realize like that sucks. I don't get that money, but I don't want you necessarily to buy ours and be like, dang, it wasn't enough. The worst case, if you bought ours and it wasn't quite enough, you just have to turn some a little bit down. But yeah, I definitely, what I don't, okay, so another good thing I didn't see here that I didn't mention, I am very cognizant of how much power things take. So like if you were to buy another 82, the 82 uses 87 watts, right? If you don't need it, that's 87 watts, 24/7, 365, where the LPH 45 only uses 48. So you do some math, and it might save you like, oh, that's going to save you $9 or $9 to $15 per month. Year after year, like in 5 years, you'll have saved enough that you could have just bought another pump for free. So, yeah, so Casey's saying that I desperately don't want to run more wattage. Then if you give me that parameter, I would buy just enough to get there and maybe turn down a few if I had to, because I don't want to run an extra 50 watts 24 hours a day. It adds heat to the room. There's so many things it does. Yeah, I like, and I have extra pumps sitting down there. I've got some of the big ones that I don't run because I don't want to run the extra power. Like, it just costs money for something I'm not using. It'll keep generating more air than I need. And so I try to get just what I need.
Here's an interesting question.
Okay.
One day I'd like to start an aquascaping and maintenance business. And you and I have both run maintenance business before. Any advice for what the future market demand looks like?
Well,
that's a tough one. The future. Let me get my crystal ball.
I think there's always going to be some. There's always going to be some demand for it. But if we were walking into, hey, it's about to be a hard couple of years. More people, like, aquariums in general are a luxury item, right? And so, hey, I need to cut costs. Maybe you cut the guy or girl cleaning your aquarium or scaping it. Some people wouldn't, but the good news is there's not a lot of overhead in that business. But you know, like you did a lot of ones in retirement homes and things. If things start getting tough, they're the first to be like, yeah, just rip this aquarium out. We're not paying the $1,000 a month anymore, or whatever the fees are going to be for this thing. So yeah, it can be very lucrative when things are good. It also can be like, ooh, times are tough. It's one of the first things to go.
The other part that I see is the aquascaping element is very time intensive, where I could go to a business and service their 150-gallon tank and be out of there in 90 minutes, cleaned up and got my check and I'm gone. If I were to have to aquascape a tank, I'm not an aquascaper, but
right.
I imagine it would take much, much more time, and I don't know if they're going to pay you enough for your time. It might be better just to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep servicing aquariums, and I'm going to the dentist's office and this restaurant and this house, and I did 4 tanks today, and I walked away with $1,000. Like, that would probably be better time-wise. And it's going to be difficult for someone to see the... Because, anytime you're having someone pay you to do maintenance or any kind of service, they're paying you for your expertise, not necessarily just the labor. But the amount of labor that's going to be involved in aquascaping, I think, may not be good from a business standpoint at scale.
However, you could be like Oliver Knott, where...
True, that is true. Yeah.
You get to use that as social media as well.
Yep.
So maybe build it into the contract. Like, yeah, you pay me and I upkeep it, but I can take videos and pictures and you can use that to maybe you gain money on Instagram or YouTube. So it's like another part of that business, right? So lots of things to think about when you're like, I just want to clean aquariums. Anthony and Casey donating 5 memberships. Everybody's getting a membership.
You get a membership.
Locking into that Mullen podcast. Another one coming out this week.
Yeah.
Steven asked, when are we going to get to the point where 3D printers are plug in, hit print, and take a nap? if you buy a Bamboo Labs, in my opinion, we are there. I
kinda-
routinely will just hit print from a different building, go to bed, wake up, and the first thing I do when I walk in here is take the stuff off my printer.
Yeah,
Almost every day, that is for me.
like the process is literally Corey and I will be talking about something. Oh, we need a lens cap for this camera lens.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go online and find one. Oh, here's one that says Sony. Print, forget about it. 45 minutes later, oh, it's done. Like it's that.
When things are dialed in, which
Yeah.
it pretty much is. You take it out of the box with the Bamboo Lab, and there are other people that will say, like, this other Select Model 1 will too. I'm just saying, you could buy any cell phone on the market, but we kind of know, like, yeah, Samsung and Apple and maybe Google Pixel, like, those are just known to work pretty well right out of the box. You could get, like, what about this phone you never heard of? Like, it probably works too, but it might need to, oh, that's a little bit of a pain in the butt, in the way. But I do think we are pretty close to there.
Casey is the new Oprah.
That's right. Let's see here. We're getting close to that
People keep
hour
talking
mark.
about my shirt.
Oh,
This
you're
is how-
into the AM shirt,
This
right?
is how I'm paying for my Bamboo Labs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Into
Yeah.
the AM.
Which, I mean, that's kind of the trajectory, right? You clean tanks, you had another job, then you got onto YouTube, and that was part. You'd talk about that kind of stuff on YouTube. Then you end up working for me, and then you start getting. Well, you were getting sponsored before that too. I don't want to make it seem like
Yeah,
you started
yeah,
working
yeah.
and then you got it, but
Yep.
and then you're still working for me. You still make videos. You get some sponsors there. Those sponsors help paying for your 3D printer in a roundabout way because they pay for the advertising of the
Sure,
shirt or
yep.
whatever. But business is getting more faceted where it's like, yeah, you got to almost build a few things that kind of work together to diversify you a little bit. So, yeah.
More muscle shirts.
Did my comment get deleted about plastic companies? I don't think so, Joseph. Mostly I miss stuff because there's a lot coming at me. Yeah, some people said, aren't there plastic manufacturers in Massachusetts? Aren't there plastic manufacturers there? Yep. I'll already say the company I'm trying to work with in the U.S. wants to change my design. I've never had to do that in China. They're like, yeah, we'd rather you do it this way. I'm like, but that's not the way I want to design it. So I said, hey, you make the change. I'll print it. Let me test it. So trying to make sure that, I don't want to make compromises on the product, make it worse just so it's easier to print or not print, but manufacture. And I'm willing to listen to their expertise. So yeah, we're still early stages because, like my question so far has been, great, you make plastic. Who's doing the packaging? Like who's printing the boxes? We'll do all the artwork and stuff. And then how's that getting to you? And are you assembling it? Who's doing the inner package of a packaging, right? Because it might be like there's a box and there's foam inside of a box and then there's the thing that they made. In China currently, they will do all of it. Well, they do all of that. They might go, oh, we'll make all the parts. No, you gotta get someone else to make the boxes. And you gotta get someone else to make the foam. And then if we have to assemble inside, let's say, our warehouse in Kentucky, like, well, do we have the room to be an assembly line? Like that is a different business than what we're accustomed to. Are our employees meant to do that? Do they want to do that? So
we'd
there's
have to probably ramp up some staff.
there's all kinds of stuff. So we
more
need to see
costs.
like, what are you guys willing to do through all this? And what does it cost, right? Because it might be like, oh, we're willing to do this, but at that price, like, oh, that won't make sense. Or, oh, it's great. It's cheap. We'll do it. Everybody's getting everything for a penny. We love it.
And a banana. You guys are helping my case trying to convince myself that I don't need a 3D printer. Oh, yeah. Corey is an enabler on this one. Corey, do you have a preference on your fry tray color now that you've played with a few?
No, jury's still out for me. I'm just now putting gray into service. So I can tell you, I think white is better than the black one for me because I have the hard water. It shows all the stains, and they're a little bit hard to see the fry. White shows green and brown algae a little bit. Gray might be the best of both worlds. Other people said, what about blue? What about green? You're right. It's harder to find 3 kilogram spools of green and blues. Not that I couldn't. I'm just, I also thought about a brown one. Maybe a brown one's good. I'm going to keep playing with it till I find what I like. Maybe use multiple colors. Yeah. Have I looked Wait, have you all looked at working with automotive suppliers in the Rust Belt for plastic parts and foam work? Supply is likely short, but it's one of the few places in the U.S. that is tooled up. Uh, One of the places we're waiting on quotes and stuff. They do make things out of, well, they make like rubber things, they make plastic things, and they make a few other complicated stuff like that for automotive. Um, yeah, mostly we're just waiting to see, does it make sense? It's files have been exchanged. We're waiting on quotes. We're waiting on how much does it take to spin this up? And we so far could be $4 billion or $11. There's no quotes yet at all.
I think the other thing is that it's not just us that's looking for manufacturing here, and so every industry is probably looking at locally sourced or U.S. based manufacturing. And and in the big scheme of things, if we're wanting 4,000 units of something out of plastic, and someone's like, and maybe that's like a 6-month order for us, and another company's like, yeah, we do 40,000 a week, we're gonna be.
Yeah, if I go, I need 5,000 of these, and they're like, cool, but Toyota called and they need 4 million of that thing.
Right.
They're in front of the line, you know, and so I'm sure they're getting slammed, and we're just waiting our turn, and we're exchanging emails daily, so we're moving forward, and yeah. I did see your comment earlier, Joseph. Try Alpha Systems here in Indiana. They work with many, many companies, including Menards and hardware stores. Yeah, I kind of saw that a little bit earlier. So, yep, we're putting our people on it, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah. Our warehouse is okay. The floods did not hit it. The tornadoes did not hit them. Weather has been insane. It's been a little bit challenging to... challenging to get just mail on time. Last week, if you watched it, like if you watched Ryan Hall y'all at all, there was a lot of big tornadoes, a lot of crazy thunderstorms. Yeah. Can you buy my business? I don't know. Tariffs get much worse, probably. You could probably buy it with lunch money if it gets much worse. I mean, worth anything. Yeah, tornadoes in central U.S. have been crazy. Yeah, and most people, like, if you're living on the West Coast, you just don't even realize what's going on. I only realize because I have a warehouse there that I'm like, oh, this really matters. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like locked in on it. But before that, I didn't really like, oh yeah, they have some weather over there. And then now I'm more hyper aware. So can I share the file for the fry basket? Probably at some point. I work on it with somebody else, and so I talk with them, and when it's ready for a release, usually they will. The one from like Lowell, that's on him, so I can't release that. It's just kind of a prototype, something we're working on. But in general, yeah, most things get out into the public's hands once we get it done. And every once in a while, there's things we're working on to actually just produce, so you don't even get to see those normally. But yeah, the goal is keep the hobby for everybody. That's most of the stuff we're working on, and make sure that things aren't stolen and then sold and that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of that going on where we got to start talking to people going, hey, you can't take something that got crowdsourced or someone else made and then start selling it, on Etsy and that kind of stuff. Like, it's one thing you can ask people to print stuff and you sell it basically for cost to someone else on the forums. Another thing to like, hey, now I'm just selling them over on eBay because someone else designed that, and if they don't want that, that's on them. So people seem to forget that most orders go to Tennessee before coming all the way out to the West Coast. Well, they gotta consolidate somewhere before they go, and yeah, we wish for everybody less crazy weather. Yeah, life could do with getting a little bit easier for everybody on just about everything. So yeah. Arizona will be hitting triple digits this week.
Oh,
how is Arizona not just like falling off the face of the earth, like turned into Mars or something?
So early.
Well, Mars is really cold though, actually, isn't it? I think Mars is actually crazy cold. So opposite of
Mercury. I think you're thinking of hot,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
Triple digits in April. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. Yeah.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah, it's real dry. All right. Will the fry trays eventually be available to buy that don't have a 3D printer? Probably not, if I'm being honest. As in, I don't think there's enough of a market for us to ever make them. They're kind of bulky to ship. I'm never going to say never, because maybe. But in the short term, no.
I think it's probably better to be in the forum, go to the 3D thread,
And ask somebody to
and
print
ask
for you.
someone, and
Yeah.
pay them. Maybe they have an Etsy or something, but yeah, like, and then you're helping another hobbyist, right? And it's you're getting what you want, and they're getting some fulfillment out of designing something and printing something for you. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. All right, this is going to be the last one, and then we're going. There we go. I have a 75-gallon tank. It's planted. I've got 100 guppies and platies, hundreds of snails and shrimps. Question is, would you, or how do you, gravel back with the bottom of the tank basically alive with animals? You might not. You might just take water off the top. Yeah, if you got that much going on. It also could be a sign you need to pare it down. If
Yeah.
you're like, if you can't do a thing, right? If you can't do it, that could be a sign of like, oh, well, if you got so many dogs you can't walk them, maybe
Yeah.
you got to have less dogs type of deal.
a couple tricks. So one trick would be if you're worried about I wouldn't worry about the snails because but with the shrimp, like maybe put something in another part of the aquarium that attracts all the shrimp over there, like some kind of food, like a bait station,
Sure.
like you would with lobster, and then that way they're over there, and then you can gravel back majority of the tank. Something that I do because my guppies are kind of dumb and they don't avoid the siphon is I put some coarse foam inside the siphon tube, and you're not getting all the big chunks, but I'm still getting the tiny mulm and detritus, and it keeps the guppies from getting sucked up in the gravel back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I'm going to call it. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. I know we've got other projects that we
Yes.
have to get done
Yeah,
today.
stuff to
So,
do.
especially for dinner. My wife's making dinner. Dorcula in the kitchen,
Heck
slaving
yeah.
away. So I don't like to be late to dinner because it ruins her plans. And we've got work to do. So thanks for hanging out. I know it's a little bit light, but guess what? If you need more, we got the Deep in the Mulm podcast. I know there's people that have joined and cranked through them in like a day and a half. We're working on it. We make one a week. That's what we do. We give you an hour plus of our time on the Deep in the Mulm podcast. Highly likely that Zenzo will be talking about 3D printers just because he's going to be getting one. And we're not Deep in the Mulm today. No, it's the normal live stream. Just a little bit, cutting a little bit shorter so that, we fly Zenzo out to do these projects. It's kind of like, well, doesn't make sense to fly out. You could have been on live stream without flying out. So
Yeah.
if you want a gifted membership, awesome. Watch all the talks. A talk that, we have a talk that goes on this month, the 19th, I think, something like that. Where we have Lawrence Kent. We got a bunch of old talks for you to watch. We have the Deep in the Mulm podcast. You can sync your account with the website, save 5%. I'm sure there's more. Oh,
Yep.
and there's the Scratch and Dent member section.
Yeah. We added some new stuff there, so keep your eye out for those.
Yeah, like the orphan tissue culture
Little orphan
plants.
tissue cultures.
Yep.
And if you need to order some fish online, don't forget Imperial Tropicals and Dan's Fish.
Yep. Aquarium Coop's the code. Save yourself 5%. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you around. I'll see Tyler next week. I think he's coming to visit, so.